Hey YouTube, Turtleags here, bringing you another AFK Journey video. Today we are in Hell mode for the Lone Gaze, and so we're going to see if there's any updates to the team that has proven itself to be quite effective during the previous recording. As per usual, I'm going to go over Lone Gaze's kit, and then followed by the team that I believe will perform optimally against him, and then we could do some experimentation and also introduce to you some free-to-play options. Yes, and you guys can say hi. Oh, you guys are on it already. You guys, names long but calls on summons to attack my supports. I know, right, City? Yeah. Hello, future self. Remember, put pants on before leaving the house this time, please. Agreed. I second that. Hi YouTube. Soren's not even at Walker tier. Hammy do more work than him and we can't ascend her, and that says a lot. That's right. I know. Lilith Games needs to make Hammy great. This is a kid-friendly YouTube video. Yes. Alright, so let's get in here. So we did have a viewer actually stop by and ask for an optimal Lone Gaze team, and it just occurred to me that there are some of you guys who are still in the old season and are fighting the Primal Lord Lone Gaze as opposed to the Song of Strife's Lone Gaze. So if that applies to you, I do have an older Lone Gaze video where you dynamic balance your Coco in order to improve the survivability of your team by an additional 2 seconds for the high score. So you can check out my older video for that. This video is for the Dream Realm version of Lone Gaze, specifically Hell mode. Okay, so this is the team that got me my highest score last time, and it has also helped me achieve a high score this time. As you saw earlier, I'm rank 4 on my server, and that attack was during the daily reset earlier today. And it has been about 16 hours since that attack. So just going over Lone Gaze's kit real quick. Basically what happens is that, you know, at 3 different points during the match, Lone Gaze will kind of enshroud the battlefield in this mist where he enters invulnerability, just basically cannot be hit during this time, and a whole bunch of wolves come out to attack your crew. What makes Lone Gaze so powerful is that if he is able to pick up a KO against, like, let's say he KOs one of your units, with his final ability he gains 20 haste and 20% physical and magic defense upon defeating an enemy hero, up to 5 stacks. So it is in your best interest to keep all 5 of your heroes alive and healthy for the duration of the match, because once he picks up 1 KO, he will quickly pick up the second, and once he picks up the second KO, the remaining 3 will drop down like flies. So it's in your best interest to make sure you have enough defenses and heals to keep your entire team alive so he doesn't get buffed like that. Okay, and then there's another part of his kit where he will dash towards the furthest enemy, and so this is the reason why in this team formation, you know, I do have Rainier dynamic balancing Odie to the front, and then afterwards what will happen is that, you know, when he dashes forward to the furthest unit, most likely it will be Rainier, which is why I have Doran protecting my Rainier, right? Because when Doran forms a pact with the ally behind him, Doran will take 50% of the damage that that unit would normally take. If you are not running a Doran, it is entirely possible that the wolf will KO your Rainier, because he's not exactly, he's like one of the squishier units. So that is the reason for this. Plus, Doran with his new season skill is able to cause the enemy to take increased damage so long as Doran is continuously applying his normal attacks. Hey Mako, good to see you. You're on YouTube, by the way. This is a Lone Gaze guide. You can say hi to your future self, hi to YouTube. And the last part of his kit really is just his ability to dodge enemies. Like, he has like a 30% dodge rate, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he'll summon the wolf pack. For each hit, he deals 30% damage, inflicting a stack of bleed for 10 seconds. The bleed will deal basically like damage over time effect, if you will, based on your max HP. And then yeah, the Wolf King has a 30% chance to dodge skills from enemies within the mist. So there's going to be times where sometimes your runs, you'll do more damage on one run compared to the other, because there is a degree of RNG. If Lone Gaze is dodging your skills like a boss, you are going to have a lower score. It's entirely possible, he might not dodge that many of your attacks, in which case your score will probably be higher. So just keep that in mind. You might need to redo your run several times to achieve a high score. And then, yeah, just more ways to damage and interrupt your allies. So that's pretty much Lone Gaze in a nutshell, not too crazy. Smokey's going to be really valuable here because of his Mythic Plus ability, which creates a blue mist that deals damage based on 12% of their max HP. For the next 10 seconds. So very powerful there. Coco, of course, you need her in order to apply that 45% damage reduction to keep your team alive, because the Lone Gaze does hit pretty hard, especially once you reach Hell mode and most certainly Endless mode. And then finally you have Odie as the premier damage dealer. And then in terms of spells, for me, I've had the greatest success with the Evocation spell. However, I can try also the Crescent spell for this. Okay, so let's go ahead and give this a try. I'll kind of highlight some mechanics as they appear. Okay, so actually I'll speed this up a little bit. Okay, so now he's going to summon the mist. So during this time he has a 30% dodge rate. Notice how he's dodging my attacks. And then the wolf squad comes down. And so this is where the evocation spell can kind of help with your survivability. As you can see, Rainier barely survived that. If you have the Rainier with the Magic Charm set, that helps a lot. This is the blue aura I was talking about. The wolf takes 12% of his max HP in terms of damage per second for the next 10 seconds. Rainier, of course, the reason why he's so good is because the wolf takes 25% increased damage when you have him Mythic Plus. Yeah, so as you can see here, we're surviving quite well. So long as we don't get KO'd, then he won't get the 20 haste, won't get the 20% physical and magic defense boost. Okay, Rainier's barely hanging on, but we're doing okay thanks to Coco. Alright, and I think we achieved a new score with 72.98%. Very nice. So, yeah, this team is quite effective still, thankfully. I'm sure in Endless mode it'll be a different story, but okay, so now that we've done that, let's go ahead and do another quick run with the Cascade spell, which is the other offensive spell that a lot of people recommend. Let's see if it makes a difference. Now the downside to the Crescent spell is that yes, you could deal more damage because Odie appreciates the 35% magic defense shred on the enemy. However, you will lose out on the defensive side of the coin for the evocation spell. So let's see here. Plus, the evocation spell does improve the damage output for both Thorin and Odie, whereas the Cascade spell really only helps with Odie's damage. Now, I am noticing right off the bat that we were taking more damage without the evocation spell, so I'm a little concerned that maybe on Hell mode, swapping to a more offensive spell might not be the play. But let's see though. I do have Rainier on the legendary set, basically the full red set for the magic charms, so that could mean that we can go more offensive, but we'll see. I need to work on beefing up my Satrana. Justin does make a very good point. There's a lot of people, well maybe not a lot, but some people are running Satrana now for the increased magic damage that the enemy takes when Satrana is on the field. That's her new season skill. So I am noticing that we might actually achieve a new high score because I think, well, we'll see. Ooh, survival. Okay, nice. So if you're able to tank all those hits, it looks like the Crescent spell is better. 78.84. So it looks like the Cascade spell really does make a difference. That was a whole 6% damage increase, maybe almost 7% actually. So that's good to know. And then finally, let's go over the free-to-play option. So in a fight like this, where you are not running a Rainier, one thing you have to keep in mind is that your team is going to be a lot squishier. So for this reason, it might be in your best interest to protect your main DPS, which tends to be the squishiest unit out of your squad. And because we lose out on the magic damage dealer, unless you're bringing someone like a Cassidy, it may be in your best interest to switch back to the evocation spell, because it is not only a more defensive spell, but it's a more universal spell that buffs both magic and physical damage dealers. Unfortunately, because Odie is magic, so Kruger will not really help out in this fight. However, one thing you could consider is running Shakir. Shakir is great because he's a sub DPS that also belongs to the Mauler faction, which can increase actually your Odie's damage output indirectly by increasing the faction bonus from 14% attack boost to an 18% attack boost. And this also improves your HP. Because you're switching out Rainiers, so if you swap to someone like a Cassidy or a Marilee, you do drop down in your faction bonus, which could affect your damage output. I think Cessia can help too in case no Shakir. Mako makes a very good point as well. If you don't have a built Shakir, which a lot of people won't, then you can go Cessia. But just keep in mind that you do lose out on a little bit of the faction bonus. But I think what we can do is let's go ahead and try Shakir, and then we can try Cessia afterwards. And you can kind of see how the damage output changes. Okay, so as you can see, certainly having Odie farm a pack with Thorin helps with his survivability, because I do think that now Odie is the squishiest unit of all our units. I cannot really recommend a Crescent spell without Rainier, because you need at least 2 damage dealers in order to maintain 100% uptime on the magic defense shred. But I think overall we're actually doing decent. It looks like if we can achieve at least a 60%, that is a win. But you do notice how this is pretty good. So 66.94%, not bad. Our high score was 78%, so it was only a 10% difference. And as you can see here, Odie put in a lot of work, but so did Shakir and Thorin. Hey Scoobot, good to see you. You're on YouTube. So that's one free-to-play option if you don't have a Mythic Plus Rainier. Now, someone suggested a Cessia if you don't have Shakir. So let's go ahead and give it a try. I think a lot of you guys will have Cessia built. Let's see how it goes. I'm gonna stand up for a moment, guys, if you don't mind. So Smokey did die early, so it is entirely possible that losing out on the 4% HP mattered. And so now his haste is increased and his defenses are increased because he's already picked up a KO. So at this point, our units will start dropping like flies because at this point he's already gained 40 haste. Yeah, so he's attacking way faster now. Okay. So if that's the case, then I do think that Shakir might be the better choice over Cessia. I think dipping too low on the faction bonus might impact your runs in hell mode. But I'm glad we did this though. So as you can see, due to us losing Smokey early due to the faction bonus decrease, it did hurt our run quite a bit. And so this is why I stress the importance of keeping your entire team alive. And if your crew is not as well invested, generally the less invested your crew is, the more you rely on the faction bonus. And actually the faction bonus is still very important even at high, even with an optimal team. So anyways, I didn't want to make this video too long. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.